Ladies and gentlemen, Mambo number 5. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody in the car, so come on, let's ride to the liquor store around the corner. The boys say they want some gin and juice, but I really don't want a beer bust like I had last week. I must stay deep, cause talk is cheap. I like Angela, Pamela, Sandra, and Rita. And as I continue, you know they're getting sweeter. So what can I do? I'm really begging you, my lord. To me, flirting is just like a sport. Anything fly, it's all good, let me dump it. Bring out the trumpets. A little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Erica by my side, a little bit of Rita's all I need, a little bit of Tina's what I see, a little bit of Sandra in the sun, a little bit of Mary all night long, a little bit of Jessica, here I am, a little bit of you makes me your man. Wow! Woo! All right, guys, that was it. Lou Bega with Mambo number 5 on Friday. It's Friday, people. Silver 5150 here. It was the longest week ever. Oh my gosh, I was just sitting there going, struggling through the week and stuff. There's a lot of things that changed, and I was sitting there, trying to figure out how I'm going to pace myself. And then, because I was so concerned with how I was going to pace myself, I stopped sleeping. And I was sleeping like 2 hours a night. And it's like, oh God, this is all catching up to me. And I'm like, boy, I'm going to do like complete hogwash when I have to do the show on Friday today. But you know what? I don't feel too bad. And I hope you guys are feeling pretty good too. We survived, so that's a plus, okay? That is always a plus. We come out here, we get it done every day. We try to take care of our families, we take care of our careers, and we take care of stacking. Because we love to stack. Because we know stacking is the ultimate play we can make in a world where government's gone wild and inflation is headed to the moon. So right now they're doing everything they can, of course, the powers that be. I always refer to them as governments and central banks to try to make everybody think that everything's fine. There's nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Move along. Move along. Continue dreaming your dollar dream. Okay? By the way, this is not a dollar symbol. Okay? This symbol here is for the Secret Silver Society. Thank you very much. And not a dollar. Because if I had a dollar, it'd have a little blip up top there and a little blip up down bottom there. And it doesn't have that. It has things on the side because I just kind of like the way it looked. I don't know. Let's move it around a little bit. Yep, that's it. See? Nope. Okay, there you go. Ha! We got it. So, yeah, like Mambo number 5, we need some jam in our life, man. We need jams in our life and stuff. We need things that are going to keep us motivated, things that are going to want to make us dance on the inside as well as the outside. Now, these make me dance on the inside. These are the new Australian world dollar coins. They have, like, the globe on them, see, where the queen is sitting and stuff. And these, I just saw them at Mex, and I was like, these look like they got some potential. Now, here's the thing. I usually go for the low mintage coins and stuff, like the sleepers, the 5,000, mintage trade units or trade dollars, Indian trade dollars and stuff. But just something about these had a more global flair. Is more of my mindset when I think about the Secret Silver Society and the things we're going to be doing down the road, running around the globe and, checking stuff out and maybe, going to invest in some things or in research or something like that, or maybe just to go party, man, like the World Party Tour, if you guys saw that video about a month and a half ago. Anyway, I'm Silver 5150, and I am just ecstatic about you guys' participation in watching the channel, taking the time to do it, because, guys, I know how it is. I know that you don't have time to be viewing 30-minute videos all the time. And look, there's like 25, 30 other posters out there, bloggers that are putting out material. And so, there's no way you can watch it. Even the guys I watch. I didn't get to see them all day. Like Silver Game of Thrones put a new video out. Silver Joker's had one out for almost 2 days now. I haven't even had a chance to catch that. And this is what happens. I get caught up trying to do this broadcast, and then, I want to listen to these guys at the same time because they're great show prep for me, I tell you that. And so I just get to a point where I have to catch up, and that's what's going to be happening next week. Of course, I told you on the programming notes this morning that I am going to be out off of vlogging until the 29th, but I'll be back on the morning of the 29th for the morning update. Maybe we'll get some fireworks by then. I got to tell you, they really got a good lid on the volatility in this market right now. Look, the stock market wants to plunge. It wants to correct properly. And here's what's sad about it. If they let the stock market just plunge like it wants, it'll probably go down to Dow 4800. It would do it probably in about 3 or 4 days if they stopped propping it up. But guess what? It would start going back up and would probably be back up into the 20s in like a month. Yes, it would hurt if you were retiring at that time. You didn't time it right. Look, somebody's got to lose. I'm sorry. Somebody's got to lose. There's got to be losers if there's going to be winners. That's equivalent exchange. Equivalent exchange. That's how it works. You really, really have no way around it. All right? So I hope you guys appreciate this song, and I hope you appreciate this little short skit that I put together for you. It's going to involve some of the more established stackers in the community, and of course, some new subscribers. I always like to include the subscribers. And as always, a disclaimer: this is a fictional account. Right at the bottom of the year 2023, it's going to have some of your names in there. You subscribers, you'll know who I'm talking about when I'm talking about you. If I happen to gender flip you accidentally, I do not intend to. I cannot hear your voices, so I don't know if I got it right or not. I've already made a mistake with 1 or 2 subscribers, and for that I deeply apologize, but you guys are very good-spirited about it, and so we will go ahead and torture you some more. All right, tonight we're going to have our Secret Silver Society members, some of them, get caught up in a madcap rescue attempt that they had no intention of being part of, because they were basically trying to head to another party that Fred Garr was throwing at a new establishment he had opened up. But it wasn't a new establishment. It was an old resort that had just kind of fallen in disarray, and nobody wanted to keep it up and stuff, and he saw the opportunity. So he put a lot of silver money into it and got it up into something really nice. And it was the old Kaxslott Tannin. God, that's really hard to say because it's up in Finland. Kaxslott Tannin Resort. Are you guys still listening? I wouldn't be. I would have turned me off a long time ago. Okay, Kaxslott Tannin Ice Resort, and it's one of those resorts that's up there by the Arctic Circle. It has glass top igloos and glass top cabins, so you can view the northern lights all night long while you're there, and drink hot cider and run around and smell reindeer farts and stuff. It's a pretty cool resort. But let's assume that it's gonna fall in disarray, and Fred had to rescue it out of the doldrums, and as a result, he wanted to throw a grand opening, because that's what Fred does. The Garr Grand internationally like big grand openings. So we were headed that way. We, or some Silver Society members. So, all right, the name of this story is called Breaker Icebreaker. Our folks get caught up in a adventure called Breaker Icebreaker. All right, here we go. So, the year was 2023, and the Markelov class icebreaker began to slow, but the passengers hardly noticed. Enjoying cocktails and sampling the latest versions of Creo's Tri-Thai Sudden Death Chili, they mingled to Tchaikovsky's Serenade of the Strings. It was going to be a great voyage, an environmentalist dream of spending New Year's at the top of the world. However, on the bridge, Captain Carlson anticipated a potential nightmare as the ship continued losing precious momentum. Navigator, what's our speed? 12 knots, sir. And what was it 20 minutes ago? 17 knots, sir. Engines, what about engines? At 90%, sir. Thanks. Hi, Captain. Carlson knew it wouldn't be enough, but if they didn't make it, the media would have a field day, and Ice Leaf Arctic Excursion's first voyage would be the cruise line's last. Second engineer, when we close within a quarter of nautical mile, give me 95%. Aye, sir. Carlson could feel that the ship began to slow even more and change his plans. You know what? Give me 95% right now. Aye, sir. So, downstairs, the passengers were unaware of the increased noise from the engines, though the few that had passed on cocktails earlier could sense greater vibration in the ship. That feels weird, one of them muttered. Up on the bridge, the captain had already issued a silent mayday on a secured channel with special clearance. Down to 8 knots and with only 300 meters to go, he decided to go for broke. Second, meaning the second engineer, I need engines at full until that dot hits the center of your screen. Nodding, the engineer pushed the throttle all the way forward and held it there. Below, in the ballroom/banquet hall, even the half-schnockered could start to feel the vibrations now. And if you guys don't know what half-schnockered is, that means you're lit. That means you've got 3 sheets to the wind, you've had quite a few drinks, and you're feeling great. No pain. All right. Suddenly, the captain crackled over the intercom. Honored guests, we are just a couple of minutes away from our destination. Please prepare to head to the outer deck soon. So, shortly thereafter, the young engineer cut the engines and announced, "We're here, Captain." Well, thank God. I didn't think we'd make it. So, the captain headed for the main decks, knew that he had pushed the Ice Maiden 1 well beyond her limits. And though her hull was an overbuilt and military grade, her power plants weren't. The twin 111,000 shaft horsepower turbo diesels, the size of rail cars, had replaced the nuclear mil-spec versions months earlier. As the captain made his way down the short stairwell towards the banquet hall, there was a loud, low boom, followed by the immediate sound of twisting metal. Not good. All right, we're going to move to a different scene now. So meanwhile, from an altitude of 70,000 feet and at 1,700 knots, Nick stared out of the panoramic window, watching the moon, stars, and lower cloud cover all at once. It looked cold out there, especially with thin ice crystals formulating around the Lexan windscreen. Finishing his highball, he was still amazed at the hot tub he had seen in the sleeper cabin earlier, but even more amazed at how the water inside of it hardly moved. "Another, Mr. Uplands?" asked the bright-eyed flight attendant. Sure. What did you say this was again?" "Louis XIII, Cognac. Remy, sir. Remy Martinet. A favorite of the Secret Silver Society members. Compliments of our CFO, Mr. FS." Good old JSS. 6 stars all the way, thought Nick. "Cheers." And he tipped his glass towards the bottle. All of a sudden, this is your captain speaking. Startled by the abrupt communication on the intercom overhead, Nick accidentally sprays the rare cask from his lips, drawing a giggle from Andy Anderson's son. Back on the Ice Maiden 1, mayhem had ensued, as the main power had gone offline, and emergency power had provided poor, reddish hues throughout the ship. As the captain made his way back to the bridge, he could hear the cruise director calling for passengers, calling for them to remain calm and return to their cabins. Reaching the bridge, he yells, "What are you guys doing to my ship?" "Plate shift, sir," shouted the chief mate. "Plate what? Up here in the Arctic? There shouldn't be anything moving." "I know, sir, but we're getting pinched pretty badly. More and more, any more and it might puncture the ship." So resuming his cool demeanor, Carlson, the captain, felt himself a genius on one hand, having sent the Mayday almost an hour ago. But how long would it take for another icebreaker to get out there? He thought at worst they'd be stranded for a few days, with plenty of supplies and limited engine power. Then it hit him. "Second, get us the heck out of here. These bougie environmental lovers, they're going to be a bit miffed, but at least we'll survive. Hey, look, we tried." Fried, sir." "What?" "The engines, they're fried," said the second engineer. "I just talked to the boss and he said we overheated, then cooled too fast." The captain sighed to himself, damnation and befuddlement. And he thought about the seized engines. "My gamble backfired. I thought I could get us in and get us out of here for their New Year's, but it looks like we're going to end up as fish food instead." Back on JSS's Beluga SST, the captain continues his briefing. "Yeah, we got a mayday call from the North Pole, of all places, and are altering our route to do surveillance." "Why? Is Santa in trouble?" a young boy on board chuckled, creating giggles amongst the rest of the kids in the aircraft. "Well, this is just great," Nick muttered to himself. Fred revives the Caxlatanan Resort. Fred revives the Caxlatanan Resort, and we miss the grand opening. Great. 40 minutes later, the jumbo jet descends toward a cluster of flickering lights, then, buffeted by 40 below winds, cruises by at 130 knots to assess the situation. "Control, this is Captain Skanga of Flight 1701 to Finland. I have intel, over." "This is Control. Go ahead, Captain." "Yeah, we found your SOS and it's not looking good. She appears to be listing a bit to starboard and power seems minimal." "What's your compliment, Captain?" "We're just a few families of the Triple S, but I don't see why that's..." "John, this is FS." "FS, sir? What are you doing?" "Listen, I need you to listen up, John." "Yes, sir." "Max the ping on your belly radar and make one more pass. You should be able to get a reading on permafrost around that ship." "What's your VTOL time, pilot?" Now, guys, VTOL, if you don't know what VTOL is vertical takeoff and landing for aircrafts. This is me talking now, 75150. VTOL is vertical takeoff and landing for aircraft. It's basically what a helicopter does. It does not need a runway, and there are some airplanes that do that too. Well, it just happens that in this particular story here, Captain John Skanga, he had been a combat pilot and flew a lot of F-35 Lightnings and was a vertical takeoff and landing expert. which you'll hear about here in a second. So, yeah. What's your VTOL time, pilot? Asked FS. And if you guys don't know who FS is, that is Florida Stacker. He is the main shareholder of JSS Airways, okay? And he always has been, so that's not changed. What is your VTOL time, pilot? 200 hours in the simulator and 100 on the pad, sir. And that's why the JSS chose you. That's why the JSS chose you. And Destiny is choosing you today. You want ready to make history, John? Those people need us, sir. Then I'll leave it in your hands. Break whatever rules you have to, but get everyone out of there. Piece of cake, sir. Copy. We're right here if you need us, but we'll maintain radio silence until you transmit. All right, back aboard the Ice Maiden, the ship, all semblance of order was lost. The crew tried helping as much as they could, but the measly 100 of them was no match for the 800 of the flailing masses. Most panic-stricken passengers ended up on the floor anyway, as the listing of the ship got worse and the lighting along with it, providing very little reference for leaning while running. Captain Carlson was now in contact with Captain Skanga and up to speed on the plan. It's really a long shot, yelled Carlson in the comlink, but it'll be next to impossible if we can't get these people. The ship stopped dead in the middle of him talking, interrupted him, then started righting itself. What the hell? Carlson thought to himself. He could have swore that he'd heard Van Halen's Jamie's Crying playing over the comm. Captain Carlson, this is X-Pack Stacker. You copy? Yeah, but is that Van Halen? Yeah, the crew likes it. So, look, anyway, direct your crew to tell the passengers that the ship is out of danger. And Carlson's like, it is? No, that's a big fat lie, but we need them to calm down so they can start exiting. Got it, but where are you? Did you bring another plane? No, we're under you. Who do you think is riding your ship? But we can't stay there forever. Post the order now. Right, said Carlson. So the order goes out, and the crew slowly starts getting control of the passengers again. As things are calming down, Carlson thinks to himself, how in the heck are they doing that? Now, if Carlson could, he would see the Migaloo Mark 7 submarine pointed skyward and nosed into the starboard underbelly of the ship, with forward exterior air bladders deployed and engines strumming at 50%, fighting against the ice squeeze. Captain Carlson, this is Skanga, over. I read you, Captain. Go ahead. Great. We're about to touch down. We have no time to waste. Have your people ready. Oh, they're ready. On the way out now. So, while Expat and their crew had their hands full trying to stabilize the Maiden, Captain John Scangan had his own magic to make, reducing the weight of the plane on the ice by using the belly fans and engines mounted on the swivel wings at 0.07%, hardly any power at all. Any less weight, and it would exacerbate the ice squeeze. Any more weight, and the waste heat any more power in the waste heat would start to melt the ice surface and blast any approaching passengers outward and further away onto the ice. Underneath the ship, the commander of the Typhoon-class commercial submarine, who was Expat Stacker, by the way, was wondering to himself, how the heck did they get wedged in here so badly? Were they trying to get marooned? That's a huge tear. This rig ain't going to make it. So on the surface, with all the ramps deployed, passengers from the Maiden were setting Olympic records running from ship to plane. Protests could be heard from Triple S family members. And Triple S, if you don't know, Triple S are the Secret Silver Society family members that were riding on the plane heading to the party over there at Fred's Resort. Triple S family members were really starting to feel the 40 below air creep into the cabin as all the hatches were open and people were coming in. Standing room only, people, Captain Sanga barked. Move to the center of the plane as quickly as you can and make room for the others. Well, they did. They filled the plane up pretty quickly, and both Sanga and his co-pilot could see the draw on the power and the fuel. Is everyone aboard yet? The captain barked. We got them all, sir, said a senior flight attendant. Just trying to get the hatches secure. We're leaving, so close them as quickly as possible, said the captain. And this wasn't bravado in any way. John had noticed the deteriorating permafrost under his plane as the engines compensated for the increased weight with more power. Oh yeah, we're definitely leaving, he said to himself. Captain Sanga nodded to his co-pilot, and in unison, they increased the throttle, but strangely, the plane barely moved. With a sense of dread, Sanga, he cues the radio. Control, you there? Go ahead, John. Sir, we're spooling up pretty good, but we ain't really going anywhere. I imagine not. How heavy are you right now? Said FS. 140% capacity, sir. Good Lord, that is really heavy. Dump the ballast immediately, okay? The ballast, sir? Yeah, the hot tubs. They have a release valve there on the control board. Pull the red lever and belay that order, Captain. It was Expat Stacker. He interrupted. FS, this is Expat. I think I have a better idea. Oh, I'm all ears, brother. You have 10 seconds. Go. Captain Sanga, pull the green lever instead. I designed these engines, and they have a special feature aboard this airplane. And Captain Sanga's all, next to the red? Yes, sir, next to the red. And prepare to cut engine power 25%. But, John, is that your name? John, is it? You're going to have to trust me, John. I know, but you're going to have to trust me. So the two Beluga pilots, which is the aircraft, the two Beluga pilots did exactly as instructed. They pulled the green ballast lever and reduced the engine power simultaneously. Inside the cabins and spa, passengers couldn't help but notice the rapid drainage of the strange water that had barely moved at all earlier in the hot tubs. There was an instant of strained silence, then suddenly the whole aircraft shook and hummed loudly. We're getting some really high power readings suddenly, Captain Sanga said uneasily. That's because the silverdine hydroxycram, oh boy, this is really technical. This is a expat saying. That's because those are silverdine hydroxycram turbines, and you just dumped the heaviest water known to man in them. Consider yourselves upgraded. All right, so these are engines, like I said, that Expat Global had designed, and they were part of that video. If you guys had seen it, I had talked about how they're able to use silver catalysts of fine silver mixed with hydrogen peroxide to create combustion chambers and actually create power that way. It's a little more complex than that, but essentially hydrogen peroxide with the right number of atoms in it, I think 2 parts oxygen and 2 parts hydrogen, is able to actually create cold fusion by removing one of the atoms. And so that was the engine design that Expat was talking about. Okay, and so the captain, he's like, heavy water? And Expat's all, yes, 6 atoms per molecule and clinically treated. The water is designed for deep tissue massage when you're in a hot tub, but can serve as dirty fuel in a pinch. Dirty, said the captain. Yeah, which means your self-coating silver reservoirs will have to constantly be refilled to keep the engines from burning out. So when this reaction happens, this is me talking again, Silver 5150, it actually has an expense to the silver element or the silver coating inside the engine nacelle or the engine makeup itself. It's not an indefinite exchange. So as the hydrogen is created and expends the combustion, it takes a little tiny bit of silver with it, and the engines have to reset themselves and relevel themselves with malleable silver as it's happening. It's a very complex technology. We won't have it for another 2 years. All right. And so the silver coating, according to Expat, the silver coating reservoirs will have to be constantly refilled to keep the engines from burning out. No problem, said Expat. Nope, no problem, Expat, said the captain. We've got this. So, now Captain Sanga gets back on radio. This is your captain speaking, John Sanga. If any one of you out there has 3 or 4 nines fine silver, please report to engineering immediately. We need it to reach the resort. Then suddenly, as a unit, all secret Silver Society members, children included, stood up and headed for engineering, giving up their seats for any shivering, standing rescue passengers that remained inside the bay. Reaching into his pocket, Nick Uplands, our gentleman that was enjoying the cognac, took out his favorite bar. The one he never left home without, and thought, dang, this had better be one hell of a grand opening. Grabbing a fresh bottle of tasty cognac, he headed toward the other members in line, turning the wall-mounted thermostat up to high on his way out of the lounge. Oh well, he smiled, knowing that he was going to have to sacrifice his bar to help save the airplane. All right, guys, that was it. That was my little story right there. So they made it to the resort just fine, and that's going to be another story. The rescued passengers from the ship, the regular Triple S passengers from the Secret Silver Society that's on the airplane. Everybody's on the airplane now. They got like 900 people, even though the airplane's only supposed to handle like 500. But they used the water from the hot tubs to, save the airplane and get those engines spooled up to really high power levels and get everybody there. And we're going to have another story about what happens once they arrive. And that'll be here in a few weeks. So if you haven't been following my little corny fictional accounts, these stories about the future secret Silver Society, they're all kind of tied in together. It starts with a World Party Tour, and then we, have some fun with Fred buying a car, and, and all this stuff. And so it's probably, worth it to go back and check some of these corny stories out. But if not, just try to keep up as you can. I think that is going to do it for today. I think you guys have heard me talk enough. But before I go, special kudos out to Florida Stacker, who traded me 32 ounces for this kilo bar. Now, I know you guys think like, well, that's 32 different strikes. And, and I can't believe that you just got a simple bar for 32 coins. Well, I did give him a variety of 32 ounces. I gave him some Krakens. The trade was, I didn't give it to him. The trade was a roll of Krakens and 4 older Philharmonics, 2008 Philharmonics. Florida Stacker, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you tolerating being in these stories and stuff. The CFO of JSS Airways. And I appreciate you trading me for this number 650. Guys, you have any idea how many kilo silver bars are out there? I mean, not too many, but there's quite a few. And number 650 is a low-ass number. Okay, I saw that bar a couple of months ago, and I was like, I gotta have that bar. He knew it, and then he hit me up for something he wanted. So I'm helping him complete his stack, and he's helping me build my bars again. You guys know I got a lot of bars and stuff, but I don't have a kilo bar. I don't have a kilo bar from the Royal Canadian Mint. I got one from Balcambi. But anyway, so guys, that is my parting account for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much, guys, for the great subs. And know that when we get to 1,000, I'm going to have a really cool giveaway for 1,000 subs. No, not this bar. That's not happening, right? It's my bar. You have it. You're not going to get these coins either. These are special coins. By the way, look at the thickness of the capsule. Those are some really beefy capsules. Not the best fit, but very cool. All right, guys, I am Silver5150 telling you that your stack is not whack. It is not. It is the way of the future. And that just 5 ounces to your name keeps you 99% ahead of the game. All right? Don't forget about that 1,000 subscriber giveaway. All right, guys? Go out, enjoy the weekend. Continue taking care of yourself. Protect yourself. Cellular immunity. I'm Silver5150. I love you guys. All right? And I'll see you in 10 days. Take care.